Hello and welcome to episode 433 of the Steel Cage Podcast. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as Adam Page's Emotional Baggage. Joining me tonight is a couple of my colleagues to discuss the Royal Rumble and who they all think is going to win it and, inevitably be wrong about. Joining me first, he is my Uncle Beek, but you may only call him James Vanderbeek. You have to call him his full name. It's Jeremey. That's where you say stuff. No, you don't wave. Don't wave. It's a
no.
podcast.
My microphone was jacked up, so I thought you guys noticed that.
Oh, okay.
Hey, yeah, that's me, Uncle.
Hi.
You
Hey.
can call me Jeremy. All that other formalities, throw them away.
No, I'm calling. No. Call him James. You gotta call him James Vanderbeek.
All right.
And he has a very lovely sunglass rack in the background of his room.
Yeah.
Much like you would see in a retail store, because he has that many pairs of sunglasses. That's how bright his future is. Also joining us is the founder and proprietor of thesteelcage.com. Lo and behold, it's Mr. Joshua Schlag.
I have no idea why I'm on this podcast.
What are you doing
I have
here?
no idea why I'm here.
You just fucking showed up to wear that shirt and annoy me. That's why you're here.
You know it.
Well, do we have any
emails? Read it at the bottom. Assistant to the champion. No,
not
this week.
No.
Where's Dante?
Dante, come on, Dante. Send us some emails.
I haven't heard from Dante in a little bit.
Oh,
Getting
shit,
worried.
he's dead down.
In regards to your shirt, I would like to make an announcement that I will be at IZW's Monster pay-per-view in a month, literally 30 days from today, to scout talent and do the thing I do.
That's why I wore this. That's exciting news. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm excited to basically ride the coattails of somebody who's much more talented and better looking than I am. But I will help them gain fame like they wouldn't believe, Josh. I don't know if you know this, but Tony Khan follows me on the Twitter. I call him TK, but Tony Khan, for the rest of you guys. Beek gets it. I think Beek, you got TK following you, right?
I don't believe so. Be checked.
No, you don't. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I guess it's only me. I guess I'm the only one that Tony Khan follows and messages privately. It's fine. No big deal.
But it's private.
Yeah. But in other news.
I was gonna say I am quite excited for you going back to, or not back to, but back to in a way, because you used to go as a fan. I used to go as a fan. I used to live right across the street from Impact Zone Wrestling's previous venue. That I remember there. I got to see Mike Knox. I got to see Red Rum, who became Relic. He was always something evil spelled backwards.
Josh, I don't know if you know that, but Relic is killer spelled backwards.
Yeah, and Red Rum is murder spelled backwards.
Holy fucking shit, you're right.
Yeah. If you take the letters and rearrange them, that's the way that works.
Race car is race car backwards?
No fucking way. Oh shit! My mind is blown. I also saw Frankie Kazarian from the popular AEW television show there for the very first time, back when he had very, very long hair. It's very cool to be working not only at IZW, which is the very first indie promotion that I ever had a chance to go check out, but also a lot of people there that I love. Greg DeMarco from the Chair Shot podcast, as well as the man who once told me that I could actually do this as a profession, Steve Islis, the Navajo warrior. So that's a big deal for me, man. Just be able to work, on a show like that. But it's almost sold out. Believe it or not, they are going to have some fans in attendance. And I will be wearing my mask and disinfecting everybody that attempts to touch me, just to let everybody know that ahead of time.
It's a good plan.
Yeah. Speaking of good plans, WWE has put in a good plan of their own by adjusting their business model and essentially what it looks like canceling the WWE network and moving the WWE content over to the Peacock.
Well, for the United States.
For the United States, correct.
So WWE Network isn't going away globally.
Okay, because they don't have access to the network or to Peacock and other parts of the world.
there's streaming rights are way different, in all different parts of the world. Like Netflix in different countries has completely different content. So
that's a bummer. We're gonna lose out that interface that WWE Network is known for. That's so enjoyable.
So good.
It's so good. With the great search features. And,
yeah. I literally searched WM17 and it said, "We got nothing for you." I'm like, what?
I put in Royal Rumble and it brought up 2. How did it bring up 2? How many Royal Rumbles are there? Why was there not 2 pages of Royal Rumbles?
It's so stupid.
I'm curious. That's probably the thing I'm most curious about is to see how Peacock swallows the WWE Network content and what that interface looks like.
I assume there's going to be a link within it that you go to what is essentially the network, because there's no way it's going to be listed out in order. It's here we have Parks and Rec, and then right next to it you have all the Royal Rumbles listed. It's insane.
Yeah, of course it's going to have its own. I know that's a big leap between
P and R, but I'm not good at improv, so I'm sorry.
I still can't get over. Josh talked about swallowing cock earlier, or Peacock swallowing the other. Anyway, it was there.
That went over my head.
No, those words were in a sentence together.
I said it. Order. Yeah, it wasn't in the order that you would prefer, but
cock swallowers.
Right. No, I think this is actually a really smart thing, because as somebody that has continued to have the network since its inception, I am getting to the point where I was actually thinking about canceling after WrestleMania. I know I wanted to stick in through WrestleMania and watch WrestleMania, but then there's that lull. There's the summer period where I don't know if I necessarily need to watch these shows, and the pay-per-views are, to be honest, the only thing keeping me with a network subscription. Totally. I still remember the days of paying $60 twice a year for pay-per-views, right? So I mean, I am totally okay with keeping the network for the purpose of watching these shows. And to be honest, WWE pushes enough content out there that with their shows alone, with their pay-per-views alone, that it's good enough for me, right? We are getting 2 pay-per-views between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, and I found that to be laughable, because I forget that there's even 1, let alone 2. In my mindset, then Royal Rumble and then WrestleMania. That's the order that it goes in. But no. We got Fastlane and the Elimination Chamber in between.
100% there with you. I actually thought I would use the network more for archival stuff, but I really don't. There's so much wrestling content that's coming out that's brand new daily. It's hard to just sit back and, you know what, I'm gonna watch ECW from '95, or I'm gonna go back and watch AW or NWA from fucking '87.
And I mean, we've all done that, but we've done that a handful of times. It's not all the time we just put it on in the background,
Right.
I'm gonna kill everything on the network.
I think sometimes when we've gone on our vacations and we were staying at an Airbnb or something,
hell yeah, we definitely
it's fun.
We throw that on or whatever, right? But it's, like you said, it's definitely not something that you do regularly. And it's kind of I don't know, it's one of those things that I question having, especially considering how much I spend per year. But I also know I share my network and other things like that. So, I mean, it's not just me. I don't mind having it. It's really not that big of an expense at the end of the day. Now with it moving over to Peacock, that just benefits me as someone that wanted to have a subscription to Peacock anyway, but couldn't really sign off on getting yet another streaming service.
100%.
I think this is a brilliant idea, because you're going to bring in all the wrestling fans to the Peacock network, and you're going to keep them, because the 2 things combined, between getting to watch The Office commercial free again without worrying about, that stuff, along with the WWE network, and I'm paying the same price. Yeah, it's a no-brainer for me.
And then they get to pull in people who aren't regular WWE fans who sign into the Peacock app, and they get the advertisement inevitably, Royal Rumble this Sunday included with your Peacock subscription. It's oh shit, that's cool. For me too, then I canceled WWE Network last April, and I've borrowed my brother's account to watch a couple pay-per-views, but otherwise, I've been checked out. And this is a move that could easily bring me back in because, like, you know, I wouldn't mind signing up to have access to The Office again now that that's off Netflix. I've mentioned to the guys in our group chat, Yellowstone is a fantastic show that you can get on Peacock. Like, there's decent content there, and now all this WWE stuff comes in for the same price as the WWE Network, or cheaper if you want to just do the commercial option. Like, like this is brilliant to me, absolutely brilliant.
I think
random people are just like, oh, there's fucking wrestling on here? What the hell?
Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah.
For sure.
Well, it would be like if the WWE Network subscription included other wrestling promotions that you've never watched before. If it was something new or what, you know, like I still really like NXT UK, which is another reason why I like my subscription. But you know, it's not.
They did add Evolve and like WXW and a couple other stuff recently, and again, like. There's so much brand new content coming out from current companies. I can't get myself to jump on there and watch that.
It's hard to go watch old content, right? I agree with you 100%. I think the other thing too is the Peacock network kind of let me down a little bit originally because I felt like they said it was going to be free. There was a point where they changed their model and said that they were going to have the content free. But when you go on there, it's only certain content. It's like the first 2 seasons of The Office is free. And I think the first episode of the new Saved by the Bell.
So they give you a taste. I see.
They give you a taste. Yeah. That's what I felt. They they give you just have a little taste, and you'll be back for more. You know, and so like
$5. Come on.
The Saved by the Bell show was on there, and I wanted to see that the new one.
Is the new Punky Brewster show going to be on there?
I think they're going to have quite a bit.
What?
Plus,
there's a new Punky Brewster reboot, dude. She's like a mom dealing with her kids. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah. Wow. It's supposed to be. It sounds pretty good. And like, I was a big fan of the show AP Bio, and I know they did a season that was just
fucking great.
It's such a great show, and I think the 3rd season is just on the Peacock. So there's other reasons why. Once again, like Josh was saying, I mean, it's a brilliant move. There's other reasons why I wanted to already have a subscription, and if I'm already paying the $10 over here. It makes all the sense. And I mean, the Peacock NBC, they're going to get a bunch of subscribers. Like, this makes all the sense in the world for us to just move our money from one subscription service over to another that has more diverse content.
I don't understand people complaining about it. Like, there's a lot of people mad.
Right? Yeah.
They're mad. Like, what? I don't want to pay for another. You're not have to pay for another streaming service. Well, I don't want it to see Dwight Schrute.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Just don't look at that.
Then don't watch that part. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's like a lot of things. Just enjoy the fact that you have this access to this other stuff. And if you're not interested in it, I'm sure they will curate it to have just a wrestling section. Once you get in there, that's all you're going to see.
More stuff you legitimately want to see. Like the more and more these streaming services exist, stuff comes on the service that's good. Even like YouTube, they got Cobra Kai that a whole bunch of people missed out on because they didn't watch it there, including myself. Yeah, then it comes to another streaming service, and we realized, wow, this gem was on this streaming service. Yeah. Hardly anybody watches.
Yep. Yep, I agree with you.
I'd hate to be the missing the boat, man. Somebody comes out and says, "Man, that fucking Punky Brewster joint is fire."
Oh, you guys are missing. Come on, I want to see Zach Morris as the governor of California. Yeah. I'm excited about that. Like,
I'm Zach Morris. I'm the governor of California.
Oh Jesus! All right, that's enough of that. So we got a lot to talk about with the Royal Rumble coming up, and we don't have time. We don't have time for that.
Never mind. Let's not talk about Screech.
Time for that. Is he going to win it? Is he going to win the Royal Rumble?
Screech? I mean, no, I don't think so.
So
awkward.
We have we have a couple of matches announced. Nothing. I'm sure there's going to be more added, or it pops up at the last moment. But for the most part, we have some tag team, the women's tag team championship match. We also have the 2 main championships being defended. But most importantly, we have the Royal Rumble matches. Like, nothing else really ever matters at the Royal Rumble, in my feeling.
It's on the road to WrestleMania, right? This is the road to WrestleMania?
This is the road.
Oh, just making sure.
Are you lost?
I got a little diverted on the road to WrestleMania last year, so.
Yeah. I understand.
Is there still a road to WrestleMania?
Road.
If the Royal Rumble and Raw and WrestleMania are all taking place at the same venue?
Oh, man, there's no road at all.
Well, it's a circle that goes around the same arena.
It's
basically.
a cul-de-sac of WrestleMania.
I think that's the parking lot then.
Well, it goes to Raymond James Stadium, right? They're gonna have it there. Are they gonna have fans at WrestleMania?
That's true.
They said so, didn't they?
Yeah, I saw that there was gonna be some sort of fans in attendance.
Fucking stupid dummies. Sorry.
It's Florida, man.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
It's Florida, baby.
You go to Florida. California's totally Floridian right now.
Are they? I've heard I know some places are talking about requiring vaccines and stuff. I'm curious if they're gonna go that route or if Florida is just gonna Florida and there ain't nothing of that happening.
It's Florida, Josh.
Yeah.
I think you answered.
I know.
But yeah, Derek. What you were saying, there's not a lot of. Okay. Well, yeah. Everyone, please, we're going 7 feet this time.
7 feet
some
apart.
Serious social distancing.
Yeah.
But you're right, man. Besides the Royal Rumble matches, sometimes outside of them with championship matches, there's kind of a lot of filler on this show.
Yeah. Now, if we look at the Raw Championship, the WWE Championship, we have Drew McIntyre facing Bill Goldberg, which is just a conundrum to me. I don't understand this. I don't get it. He came out and Bill Goldberged it up. He couldn't cut a decent promo. It's just like a no-win scenario for Drew, right? If Drew loses, he doesn't look great at all. If he wins, it's like he said himself. He beat up someone that's like his dad, right?
My dad.
Right. I don't get this scenario at all or why this would be something that they would do. I mean, the big name factor at Royal Rumble, is that really all they were going on, is trying to find a big name that they haven't already had as a challenger anytime recently?
But nobody who wasn't already interested in the Royal Rumble is going to be like, oh, Goldberg's on? Hell yeah, count me in. That's
what I feel like they're doing, though, Josh. I really feel like
that's not going to draw anybody. The Royal Rumble itself, the Royal Rumble matches now. That's why people tune into the Royal Rumble. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody who wasn't going to watch the show that heard that Goldberg's on the show is like, oh, we got to get this.
Yeah, right? No, yeah. I get it. It's just so weird that they almost think of it like the same way we think of boxing, right? If you found out Tyson was taking on McGregor or some shit like that, you'd be like, wait, hold on.
What the fuck?
Light show shit is this? Gotta see this.
Wait, that sounds awesome.
But you know what I mean, though? I think that's, I know it's different, Josh, but I feel like it's the same ballpark. No,
you're good. On the undercard, there's still a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
This is huge. All the other stuff, nonsense.
Right.
But honestly, Goldberg should have been. Maybe it's contractually he has to be in the main title picture, but it should have been for the U.S. title. Him and Bobby Lashley is a much better match. That would be a way more fun match. But we're here where we're at. Yeah.
I still think that because when the rumor came out, right, it was originally that it was going to be Roman versus Goldberg at some point, and there was these comparisons over who did the better spear and blah blah blah, right? It felt like that made sense if.
Yep.
Roman was essentially going to, once again, I know I've said this a bunch of times, but if Roman was going to be the one to put Goldberg down or end his career or whatever, that's a great thing for a heel to do, to be that big of an asshole. I remember I still remember how I felt about Triple H retiring Mick Foley. I wanted to stop watching wrestling forever when that happened, that was a big deal to me, and I fucking hated Triple H over that shit. It worked on me really well. I just think that, McIntyre beating Goldberg doesn't do anything, Meanwhile, on the other side, we have the aforementioned Roman Reigns facing now Kevin Owens. It was going to be Adam Pearce, but we switched gears on that.
I want to know all about this because as someone who hasn't been keeping up, I heard that Roman Reigns was slated against Adam Pearce, which sounded like it was kind of a joke and would probably get switched up. Meanwhile, I guess Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns had a pretty fire match the other month.
Yeah,
a couple of them actually.
Which I completely missed out on. And so I'm interested to see how this feud has come together, and it sounds cool. I'm excited because I know I missed out on the previous match. So
the way that it got in the match, the way Kevin got in the match was Pierce supposedly injured himself. The contract therefore is voided. He can't be in the match. So somebody else had to take his place, and that was booked by Kevin Owens.
But Pierce started limping like
Yeah.
2 minutes after Roman signed the contract for them to be in a match together. So all Adam Pierce wanted was Roman Reigns' name on a paper, so then he could do his executive decision shit and put Kevin Owens in the spot.
Adam Pierce essentially like the GM of SmackDown or something.
Adam Pierce is he's the GM of everything. He's like the what
on-screen authority figure.
Yeah, he's the on-screen authority
without
figure.
actually saying he's GM or anything.
So I think at one point they said he was like a talent relations personnel or something like that.
Okay. So that was like John Laurinaitis and like fucking JR's job.
And what Beek's saying is actually, I think, really slick how they did it, right? Yeah. Because they didn't want to have a GM and they didn't want to make it a big deal. Totally. They just slid Adam Pearson kind of out of nowhere, and he's done a great job.
He just slid in, he would just be people were doing shit. He'd hey, knock it off.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden it's like oh, okay, we take him serious.
Yeah, everybody's respecting him,
Yeah. Okay. It really was that so natural that all of a sudden, all right, yeah, I guess he's the head of everything now. Cool.
Right.
And Pierce rules, dude. Like Adam Pierce has always been awesome. So
he's super cool. Really good in this role. And I think the biggest thing is it's just once again something new. He's
got that super villain cadence when he's talking.
Right.
Like, yeah.
And he tries to do the right thing, but sometimes the right thing involves giving the Miz his Money in the Bank title or briefcase back because John Morrison cashed it in instead of the Miz cashing it in, which technically is true. The guy who won it needs to be the one to cash it in. His buddy can't cash it in for him, and they got away with
he's
loopholes like that.
Is he neither heel nor face? He's just sort of
he's definitely face leaning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he got a special extra kick out of letting Kevin Owens take his spot and sign the contract.
Sure.
And it doesn't at all feel like a setup for a swerve where they're gonna all gang up on Kevin. Like it doesn't seem like Adam Pierce all of a sudden is gonna fuck you, Kevin. I'm in on this shit too.
Yeah. So, but the Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns storyline has been so perfect because of Roman Reigns, like
family versus family man.
Yeah, and his character, just the way that he, like I was watching him at one point. I needed to rewind it and show my wife like how good Roman Reigns is, and she didn't care, but I was showing her because when he was speaking,
baby, look at this, look at Roman.
Yeah, like no, you gotta see this, you gotta see this. The thing about it is, we've always talked about professional wrestlers that are great have always talked about that that character on screen is an extension of yourself. And there was a point where Roman Reigns was yelling about basically being disrespected while carrying the company on his back and everything, and it was so from the heart. Like it was such a good promo because he was literally just in the ring spitting the truth about how he feels about what he's done for WWE. He's like, I busted my ass and carried this company, and like I was like, yeah, he actually has, and I bet everything he's saying he like truly believes. There was no hesitation in what he was saying. His arrogance.
Go out there and tell him how you feel, big
man. Like his arrogance is kind of well deserved at this point to a degree, and like I understand his kind of anger, that edge that he has about it. He really did try to be this big baby face in pro wrestling. It didn't work, and man, he's channeled it really well into everything he's doing right now. But
I really liked the interaction with him and Paul when he's like, no, Paul, you got to go handle this.
Yeah.
It's like,
basically, look at Paul's like, you gonna let him talk to you like this?
Yeah,
make you a
then
bitch?
I didn't tell you to challenge him to a match. I wanted you to eviscerate him on the microphone. You got this? It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Which he did that, and then he challenged Adam Pearce to a match.
Yep.
And then Roman Reigns kicked Adam Pearce's ass. But it was all good, and leading into the show, I think it's a lot of fun, honestly. I think this is going to be a great match. What are you guys' thoughts on predictions for this?
Last man standing match, by the way. I'm reading.
Right, that was a big stipulation that Roman wants in there because that seems to kind of be his signature match now, right? Like he seems to like to go to that kind of place where he can really. I made this comparison the other night, but Roman Reigns is like a dude who was like 6'3", 6'4" in high school and could dunk the basketball and just shoot and was better than you athletically, but then still when you played him in like PE, he also had to cheat. You're like, come on, you can already shoot threes over me all day long and dunk on me. Do you also need to trip me when I run past you? Come on.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do. I'll hit you in the nuts when I think I might lose the match.
I don't know, man. I have to assume that Roman's going to win this one, but I guess that would mean that is the end of this rivalry, and that seems unfortunate for Kevin to be out of the title picture. But I think he's had a pretty. Where would he go from there? Like he can't. I don't know.
I'll say this. I don't think anything is the end of any rivalry with Roman, just because I feel like there's that bad blood. Like deep down inside, there's a part of me that's waiting for Jey Uso to get his revenge on Roman eventually. Like
I meant more with the company wanting to like put him in that run another program with him for a while.
A minute
before that happens.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to think where do you go from there, and I don't really know. I mean, I think it all depends on what your plan is. A lot of times, it's easier to just have him take that big beat down and maybe ride him off TV for a little bit.
I had a thought. What you actually just mentioned. Maybe Kevin does win this. Roman blames it on Jey. Then there we go. We got Jey and Roman for the feud that you wanted. Or was it Jimmy? Which one? I forget which of the Uso
it's Jey. But do you think at this point that Roman isn't going to be a main event at WrestleMania with how well everything's gone with this program? Or with him just in general.
Exactly. That's why my initial point was I'd have to assume that Roman wins this. Like,
as somebody who hasn't been keeping up with all this, but I do recognize what Roman Reigns has been doing and how well it has worked. In my head, I'm just like fantasy booking. Like, how does this work? Like, I imagine Kevin Owens, it's a last man standing match that just calls for shenanigans, with Usos coming out or who knows what, and then, maybe like a Daniel Bryan ends up winning the Royal Rumble, comes after Roman Reigns. That's a pretty big time WrestleMania match. But then Roman Reigns breaks all of our hearts. Daniel Bryan doesn't get it then. And I don't know, just like as time goes on, like Roman Reigns just like fends off all these like top tier competitors, babyface competitors that like we're like, it'd be cool if he could win, but he can't, and it just gets to this point where like, I don't know, it's like a 5-on-1 or a fatal 4-way, fatal 5-way, something weird, elimination match. I don't know, something down the line where all these guys who got beef with Roman are all competing for the title against each other, and it's not
elimination chamber.
It could be an elimination type thing. That would be freaking badass, man. That would be like one of the coolest elimination chambers in a while.
Yeah.
Something, I don't know. I'm just like.
No, I'm with you though. Like there needs to be, Roman needs to eventually like have consequences for his actions. And that's a great way to do it. Like in a situation where essentially everybody he's fucked over the last year,
including Jey Uso, like everything just comes right back. Yes.
Yeah. Like
it'd be pretty cool.
Like the way that Adam Pearce ended up in this was pretty cool because they had this, 5-man gauntlet match essentially. And in this match, they really just decided out of nowhere to put Shinsuke back over.
Yeah.
And Shinsuke, not just as a competitor, but Shinsuke as like a face.
Yeah.
And I mean,
brought his old tunes back.
He brought his old tunes back the next week and everything like that. So this is an interesting transformation. Cesaro also seems to oddly be getting a push towards the Royal Rumble. I mean, they do weird stuff like this every year where they kind of have all the competitors like talk shit and stuff. So I don't put too much stock in what's going on with Cesaro, but I think both of those guys were way too valuable as individual competitors to just have them in this tag team together, even if you were going to throw the belts on them. I don't care about the belts.
Yeah.
I care more about the way that they could add to the show individually if they were just free and separate. Like,
because you're even them as a tag team, you're like, well, they're like better than that tag team. Like,
right. No, absolutely. Like
they're languishing there.
Like Dolph Ziggler and Rude, for instance, I love what they're doing with them. Like they gave them a name now. They have matching gear. They won
What's
the
their
tag
name?
belts.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. What was their name?
They're the Dirty Dogs.
That is awful.
It's
Dirty
not a great
Dogs.
It's not a great name. They have
That's
kind
what I
of a
see
cool
when I see these
logo.
guys. These guys are dirty and doggish.
Yep. But they did. It was a perfect opportunity to give them matching gear, and they got
Dirty
cool
dogs.
matching denim jackets with leather vests. So now
like
Robert,
like dogs.
Robert Roode looks as much like Triple H as he possibly could now. It's amazing. There's no closer. But I mean, they're fully committed to it, and those are two guys that they weren't fucking doing anything with. It's a similar situation, but it's different because it's more beneficial for the two guys in the tag team. Plus, they immediately have given them 2 reigns already as tag champions. So they've
Plus,
already.
Dolph Ziggler's on AEW this week. Do you see that?
Was he?
Yeah, it was actually his brother.
Oh,
Ryan Nemeth.
yeah.
And Ryan was like, no, he was actually doing all Dolph's moves and shit. Like, I think it's a bit. I think he's doing a bit. He's
That's
like wrestling
fantastic.
like Dolph. It was awesome.
I saw that Dolph was essentially promoting his brother being on AEW, so I love that that's what they ended up doing with it.
Yeah,
super cool.
Not like he was doing all the poses and shit, just all the in-ring stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
that's enough.
So, taking a step backwards really fast, what do you guys think about McIntyre versus Goldberg? Who do you think wins that one? I'm curious because the Goldberg versus McIntyre, almost like apparently a lot of people feel strongly about Goldberg possibly winning this.
I have a feeling, like I said last time we all had the show, that it's going to be a Goldberg win. But then that means we have to get another Goldberg match, which
right.
It's a bummer.
Maybe more than one. Who knows?
And I want everyone to know that I'm old school hating Goldberg. I hated Goldberg in WCW. This guy, I've always hated his ass. When he was in WCW, we called him Getting Oldberg during the streak. Now he's here now.
That was 1997.
Yeah. Fucking Goldberg.
Oh, that hurts my
heart.
His
shirt, his son is taking his shirt off. His fucking little goose.
Even his son looks like he didn't give a shit when he came over with the belt. I watched that clip again, and I was like, that kid really doesn't care that his dad won. He's like, I know you were going to win. You told me beforehand you were going to win.
Yeah. That's why I went back, son. Stupid.
I can't think, like, this just really feels like a no-win scenario. Like, Drew should win, but it doesn't really do anything. I don't like any of this.
I don't either.
That's why I was happy to talk about Roman versus Owens.
Yes,
that's
I know.
kind of fun.
I know. This is sad. Yeah, like seriously, this is literally like this is when like some old dude picked a fight with you at a fucking mall, and now you have to fight him.
I mean, it's a tough looking old dude, but still,
and he takes his shirt off, and you're just like,
oh man, there's people watching. Look at these 3 people over here.
Sir.
They're just gonna watch the whole fight. Yeah.
He starts smashing his head against the trash can. Boom.
All right. Well, hopefully are we all in agreement? Drew wins.
I hope so.
I hope. You know what? No, I don't think WWE is going to do this to us. Yes, Drew McIntyre wins.
Okay.
Okay.
No, he's like, I don't know. WWE
I can't possibly pick a winner here. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. Royal Rumble matches. Those are the things that really matter here, and those are the true predictions that I care about. It's 2 Royal Rumble matches. I mean, is there a better pay-per-view than Royal Rumble?
It's definitely one of the best.
No.
I would say it tends to be the funnest and you get the most pops. Like, how can it not be that exciting? By the way, I have this Undertaker voodoo doll. I'll ask who's going to win the Royal Rumble.
Oh, shit. He's got to let me know. I personally have had some of my favorite moments because of the Royal Rumble. I think, it's kind of like WrestleMania in the fact that I didn't really get a lot of pay-per-views when I was younger, because of how expensive they were. So it was usually going to be the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. And if I was lucky enough, I got both of them in the same year, but that wasn't all the time. So I still just love the Royal Rumble. I think the match itself is just so much fun. And it's like watching like 12 to 15 individual small matches inside the context of one large match. I don't know. It's the most exciting thing. I still remember the year that I attended, and I did not know the guys from the steel cage yet they were just a few rows and a few seats over from me, which is just so special inside of my heart.
We were sitting like pretty close to the front behind the announce tables, essentially.
That's right, and I was just up to the side from you guys.
That was The Rock versus CM Punk, and the Shield came out, and oh man,
I was by the 3 gold dusts.
That's the gold dust pop. Everybody in the arena turned to those guys.
To those 3 guys, yep. It was a great moment to be sitting by them. Let me tell you,
fuckers, look, it's your guy.
That was also when the best protected secret ever that Chris Jericho was going to be in that Rumble.
Yeah, the Goldust thing wasn't even the most exciting thing, really.
Oh, I jumped on my seat about Jericho.
Yeah,
I hugged strangers. It was a great moment. But this year's Royal Rumble, it's exciting. I don't know. On one hand, I like really not knowing a lot about the Rumble match. I do like the years where they don't really tell us who's going to go 1, who's going to go 30, all of that other stuff.
Yeah,
but
it's a bit much.
I miss the qualifiers, though.
I miss the qualifying matches. You're 100% right. It doesn't
this year, right?
Well, no, kind of. The only qualifying matches were AJ. If this guy can beat you, he's in. If he can't beat you, he's out.
It was basically AJ going around ruining a bunch of guys' chances to be in the Rumble because nobody could beat him. So it felt like he was going to lose to all these guys, and he just beat one guy after the next.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
Just like Highlander, just taking their powers and just stealing Royal Rumble opportunities.
Almost makes you think like he's the person they've pushed really probably the strongest during this. Correct. I think, maybe leading toward him.
As far as you're right, because that's what I picked up. As far as the Royal Rumble, AJ, I mean, there's guys on SmackDown that have randomly talked about it and cared. They've challenged. They've talked shit to each other. Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, I think Shinsuke's thrown his hat in there. There's been plenty of chatter about it. Yeah, Big E.
That's a solid lineup of SmackDown guys.
Right. And it's SmackDown over the last couple of weeks has been fun to watch, especially Daniel Bryan getting to face off against Cesaro and then Shinsuke in that gauntlet match and stuff, man. I mean,
is he kind of like on his last hurrah? Is that the understanding?
To me, it seems like that just because he's putting a bunch of guys over. Like he's lost a bunch of matches. And he's given a lot of handshakes and hugs at the end of matches. It wouldn't surprise me, but he's also done everything that there is to do. He doesn't seem like he has much to do at this point, aside from have some really great matches with his dream opponents and maybe put over some younger guys. At this point, not necessarily like a Cesaro.
Honestly.
True, but
ideal for Daniel Bryan, honestly, what I would love to have him happen is him leave, start his own indie where he has his own dream matches every once in a while on a card with other awesome matches. Like, he wants to wrestle fucking some guy from New Japan that's in the States. They come on fucking work. Like, that would be so dope.
Yeah, he revives the concept of what he started doing with Dragon Gate way back when.
Yeah. A school included. Yeah, that would be ideal. That'd
with
be
a
so
school,
dope.
yeah. I could totally see him doing that.
And I think he would be happy with that. I think
it might be
he's got 2
Washington.
Oh my gosh.
Have it be up here.
Shut up, asshole. He lives in Phoenix. He'll be in Phoenix. Shut up.
He doesn't live in Phoenix anymore, does he?
Yes, he does.
Oh, did he? Aberdeen?
Yeah, I thought he sold that place, and I thought they live in San Diego now.
I don't follow.
Come back to Aberdeen.
Yeah, go back to Aberdeen. I'm down with that. I can make a quick little flight. I don't have an indie here in Boise to follow, so I'll take some short, cheap flights over to Seattle.
You guys are selfish. You're selfish, both of you. But that actually, it's funny because
sorry to fantasy book Daniel Bryan's life.
His life, yeah. But when you really know a guy, right?
Yeah.
Like you feel like you can say that about them.
Yeah, I can see this guy doing this and being happy.
I mean, having listened to his book multiple times now, like I feel like I kind of know him, and I do feel like he would legit enjoy that lifestyle.
Does he do the reading of it?
Yes, it's fantastic.
Oh, that's so awesome.
That's great.
Well, no, he doesn't do the full reading, but he does like portions. Regardless, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, that's so dope. Makes me think of like what wrestler I'd want to hear an audiobook if he was definitely the guy reading like New Jack, like reading his own audiobook. Holy shit.
Yes.
You would go off on tangents.
This motherfucker. Yeah.
Like, New Jack, that's not in the book. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. People are trying to read along. Like, wait a minute.
Oh shit! I spilled my drink. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I need to clean that up.
Leave that in. Leave that in. Do not cut that.
You know, there's got to be somebody who is hilarious that has done like totally awesome skits within their fucking audiobook.
I will tell you, I stopped listening to podcasts a while ago because he kind of ticked me off. But Adam Carolla did a really good job of that, I think, as far as his books go. Like his books are completely different in audio format than his regular book.
That's cool.
He does exactly that. He just kind of goes on tangents, but it's a cool concept.
As a disclaimer, can people we're fans of stop being assholes?
I know, right?
As soon as he said his name, I'm like instantly.
I know. I was like, yeah, I know.
Mangria.
It just sucks, man.
The man invented the Mangria, guys.
I have never had a year.
Sangrias weren't manly.
We get it. They're wine with fruit in them. There's nothing manly about them at all, other than how drunk you get.
Well, you put an M in front of that motherfucker.
Now it's fucking manly as shit.
Yeah.
Now it's manly as shit. So going back to Daniel Bryan, top contender for the Rumble, I think, as well. We talked about AJ Styles, mostly because AJ Styles has really been the one to like put it out there. Plus, he has Omos watching his back. So there's definitely going to be that spot where he gets thrown out and Omos catches him and puts his ass back in the ring. And
what do we have? One of those finishes where both him and Daniel Bryan touch the floor at the same time.
What if Omos catches both of them and then they continue to fight in his arms?
Oh, now you're just getting ridiculous. They're like two little kids.
Yeah. Little jabs and punches. I mean,
then they both hit the ground at the same time.
At the same time.
And then almost wins. No, I don't know. I mean, I think that they're definitely both top contenders for this, but what are your guys' thoughts? Who do you think sticks out for you? I'll start with you, Beek.
With the way they've been pushing AJ, I have a feeling can't see Daniel Bryan like going to main event at WrestleMania. As much as I love Daniel Bryan, it seems like they wouldn't do that again without really pushing him big this entire time, not just kind of, being this upper echelon wrestler who's just wrestling great matches with people. You know what I mean?
He's had a lot of losses. Yes, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then I was thinking what we could be awesome is Joe cleared? Samoa Joe, is he medically cleared?
I don't know, man.
It'd be fucking awesome for him
to
come off the desk in his gear. Come off the desk from doing commentary in his gear and then winning this motherfucker.
And then going after Roman Reigns, Joe and Reigns.
And then maybe having maybe Joe even wears or keeps the microphone as he goes in to start whooping people's ass while he's doing commentary. Could be pretty rad. I don't know.
Has a super long cord with a headset, just keeps
get a wireless one just for the specific spot, of course.
Yeah. Of course. Yes.
I don't know. I know they've done that bit before with the announcer guys getting in the match, but with Joe being such a credible threat, if he's cleared,
completely different.
Way different than when Jerry Lawler's ass got into
when
the
Booker
ring.
did it. It's the Booker T spot, I like to call it. Booker.
Well, but the thing about it is it's always a retired guy, and none of us think of Joe as being a retired guy.
No, that guy's a credible motherfucker. He can't. I think he's cleared. I'm not 100% sure, but again, I don't know. I'm not meaning to fantasy book a human being's life.
No,
that'd be cool.
No, I know. That's always good. That's what we do on this show. We fantasy book everything. Josh, your thoughts?
I don't know. As someone who hasn't seen any of the build up, I'm simply looking at the list. I do still like the idea of Daniel Bryan winning this thing, and even if he gets his dream crushed by Roman Reigns, I think that does a lot of good for everyone. So I'm gonna stick with that as my choice.
Sweet.
I think there's a lot of really good choices, and when you start looking at guys that could potentially come back, I don't hate the idea of Brock Lesnar coming up and ruining everybody's day and challenging Drew again. I think that, as far as I'm concerned, is the only challenger that they could throw as Drew. The other person that they could throw at Drew that I would be all in on is Edge. And Edge did show up on Raw and cut a promo basically that he will be at the Royal Rumble. And I don't think it's that much out of the realm of possibility. I look at two things: big names and what have they done in the past. Edge's entrance last year was the biggest thing that happened in the Royal Rumble. That's one of the things. I mean, people remember
one of the
that,
biggest things ever.
People remember that more than who won it, you know. Yep. So I think that it's a very strong possibility that Edge could come back and win this thing. I really think that when I focus on a lot of stuff, what's weird is that Roman is the bigger name for WrestleMania. So it feels like they would have whoever comes out of the Royal Rumble be a challenger for Roman. But on the other hand, they've done such a good job on SmackDown of telling the story that they're telling with Roman Reigns that I don't think they need any help with a challenger or a contender for SmackDown. I think they will absolutely handle that strongly, and I don't think that they need that push of the Royal Rumble winner being in it. Drew has historically throughout his reign so far had a problem with having good, solid competitors. Randy was the only one that seemed like a viable competitor, and Randy beat him for the championship, and then he won it back. I could absolutely see Edge or Brock both being guys that would come back and make an immediate impact on that storyline. The only thing with Brock is then that creates a weird love triangle with Paul Heyman, and you know, I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think that they, even though I think Brock can fully handle like being him on his own.
Yeah,
he was so fucking entertaining, right? When he had the Money in the Bank briefcase, was using it like a fucking boombox, and just a lot of the stuff that he did when he was champion, or even when he was the Money in the Bank, you know, bank briefcase holder.
If Brock came back, I'd love to see. I know this generally won't happen, but if he challenged, like, man, fuck it, I want both champs. I want a match with both these motherfuckers, and that's the WrestleMania Championship match.
Shit, man! Would you imagine that? Like, that would be incredible.
Yeah, it's like, and then he doesn't even necessarily have to unify. Just whatever title he ends up winning, he's taking that one home with him. So.
Well, like,
but the other guy has a chance to unify. It has to be all or nothing, right? Yeah.
No, I mean, I like what
those straps.
I like what New Japan did, where they just have like the Intercontinental belt and the heavyweight belt have been kind of tied together now for a while, you know. But they don't unify them; they're just
chilling.
Two belts that the champion holds, you know. So at any point they could split them up, but they choose not to. I think
you're right. There's SmackDown has. There's so many natural progressions there, and there's not really much. Like, where else could Drew go? Like that eventual feud with Sheamus they've been teasing, like them really going full force, and that doesn't sound good at all.
AJ, you know, like there's very limited options outside of those two. I don't know who else I would put up there in that position, you know. And it sucks, man. I think.
And where's Keith Lee at? He's like gone now.
Keith Lee is another guy who I would love to see, but I just don't think they'll do that. I don't think he has that name brand. But I also think it's absolutely ludicrous that people still think that Keith Lee is somehow being held back. You know, he had a championship match.
That's a hell of a way to be held back.
Right? To be buried. And then, like, not only that, but then the next week, like, what was more important for me was the next week when Triple H was going to go out to fight Randy. He was the guy in Triple H's corner, like, telling Triple H, like, to settle down and that I'll go fight Randy for you. You don't need to do this. That was fucking huge. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that he had this interaction with Triple H like they were boys, and that Triple H has done so much for him, let him do this for, you know, like, that was very telling to me. So you cannot tell me that Keith Lee is not revered in WWE and is not in an absolutely great position. Yes, it would suck if he doesn't become champion, because he absolutely deserves to be champion, and soon, like within the next 2 years. But it also wouldn't surprise me to be a very WWE thing and never give him the belt, because, you know, that's WWE.
Have him pushed almost to the championship, and they're like, all right, let's get this U.S. title on this guy.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. We can move on though. I think the women's championship or the women's Royal Rumble match is equally as interesting, and I think even more so because I don't think WWE is as invested in it being a big name, right? Like we had Charlotte win it, but then Charlotte went on to challenge Rhea Ripley, right? Like I think WWE with the women's division is a little bit more ready to pull the trigger on like somebody new coming up, or maybe not the biggest name in the Rumble, but somebody that like deserves it. So Beek, I'll start with you. Who do you think wins it in the women's Royal Rumble?
I honestly haven't looked at the list of all the competitors, and knowing the WWE, I'm assuming it's probably going to be fucking Charlotte.
Not
even trying to be funny, honestly. It's just that's the way they seem to lead. Like they want to make her the woman that has the first such and such. So she's going to be the first woman to win 2 Royal Rumbles or whatever.
All right. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all. I think you're dead on. I'd like to
see Rhea Ripley win it, though, to be honest with you.
That would be very cool. That'd be very cool. I by the way, I do love Lacey Evans and Ric Flair together. It's so fucking great. There's Lacey Evans being the gold digger that is at Ric Flair's side. That's my thing is like with that going on, that's too strong of a program. Like that's too good of a program. So it's got to be Lacey costing, Charlotte the opportunity in the Rumble, right? Like that's
yeah, you're right.
It's got to be that. It's got to be something that just adds that fuel to the fire between those two, because I wouldn't even be surprised to see it be one of those like scrums where they take each other out and they both go over the top rope or whatever, right?
They keep fighting to the back. Yep.
Yeah, they fight all the way to the back. Josh, I know once again you haven't been up to date, but any thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the list so far, and so the other match that's taking place at the Royal Rumble is the Women's Tag Team Championship, which does involve the Raw Women's Champion Asuka
and Charlotte
teaming with Charlotte, defending against Nia and Shayna. And so all of Charlotte, Nia, and Shayna are all in the Rumble, I see. I guess I don't know. I feel like they'll be teasing any of them as pretty strong candidates. But when I look at the list again, like I'm just drawn to SmackDown, and with Sasha Banks as the champion, whether it's Bayley or the only other person I've seen things of on Twitter as of late is Bianca Belair. Bayley and Bianca Belair, either of them going up against Sasha ultimately could be pretty damn cool. So I guess if anything, I'm kind of leaning towards one of those two.
I like that Bianca. I like Bianca a lot. That's a good call.
I love Bianca, and I think once again, I think that they've put Bianca, especially after her performance last year, in a perfect position to win it this year. But I like your other thought too about Bayley. I think that Bayley and Sasha have had one of the biggest feuds of 2020, and to give them possibly the main event of one of the nights of WrestleMania, because it's 2 nights, would be huge. And they have the history. It could be the final, the ending to the Sasha Bayley saga. I don't know if it's too soon to move in that direction, or if they want to give them more time before they revisit it. I feel like that's a good enough feud that you might not want to get back there right now. And Bianca and Sasha have also set each other up nicely. I mean, sometimes you got to watch those context clues of who they're kind of scrapping with and who they're trying to show up. And Bianca and Sasha have kind of, gone back and forth a couple of times. But I don't know. I was wondering, do you guys think it's too soon for Becky to show up randomly? Even appearance.
No, I could see her doing an appearance. But I think they would not want to waste the appearance and not have her do something. I think the pop would be too big for them not to want to actually get something out of that.
You think it's too soon for her to be in the Rumble?
I saw a picture of her recently. She looks
incredible.
I just saw a picture of her hold the baby. She didn't look like, I didn't see anything like her ripped or anything.
Oh yeah,
she was just in mom mode.
Yeah, she's in mom mode. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, we probably saw the same picture and interpreted it differently. Yeah. I saw her looking exactly like she looked after giving birth to a baby like a month ago. So I don't know. I mean, she was doing like doing squats and like CrossFit while she was pregnant. So
she's probably super lean. That's probably why. I just normally like a fuller faced Becky is what I'm used to. But yeah. She's just lean, man. That CrossFit leans you out. I know.
Yeah, I know. Look at you. Fucking athlete.
Svelte.
I don't know. It's something that popped in my head again. It's kind of like what I was thinking about with the men's rumble. Who haven't we seen? Who could we see pop up? And would those people popping up be a joke, or would they be, viable contenders? Becky's the only one I could really think of. Now, Alexa has gotten a weird push. And it's also made me think of maybe the Fiend showing up in the Royal Rumble match as well.
But the way he shows up, fucking Alexa will walk out all the way to the ring, stand in the ring, everyone's gonna stare at her, lights go out, all of a sudden she turns into the fucking Fiend, and it's fucking annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Wait, Alexa turns into the Fiend?
Alexa and the Fiend are like the same person now. It's fucking weird.
So Josh, Alexa kind of has the Fiend's powers now.
Like her face changes, where all of a sudden his smile will be on her face.
Oh, her outfit changes, and she has black lipstick on now. She makes kind of smeared.
She makes like swing sets, teleports. She's a fucking weirdo.
And rocking horses.
And rocking horses, yes, that's wooden horses.
Yes.
Okay. It's the worst, Josh. Some people love it. I think it's the pits, but hey, each own.
I think just to kind of give my take on it, I will say that it's very overproduced, right? So it's
overacted.
It's them that too. She's definitely she just doesn't have the subtleties and the same qualities as the Fiend. Yet at times she can also be very cool. She can be very badass. Like at times it's very like. She has this weird giggle she does that I kind of laugh like that. She, like
that's the worst part, Josh.
The nerd. It's kind of nerdy. She's like, like I don't know. It's kind of funny, but there's things that you can tell Alexa's having a really fun time with it.
Okay.
But
she certainly is having a great time. She's just chewing up the scenery out there.
Yeah. It's also very much just giving somebody else another person's gimmick. And she seems to be going after Asuka now, and Asuka's Raw Championship. It wouldn't surprise me to see them put it on her, just because they kind of do this. They kind of throw it on whatever gets attention. Like my problem is, they do a lot of stops and changes where she's changing outfits and stuff middle matches. They're just taking advantage of the fact that they have the whole Thunderdome, edited process.
She wrestled Asuka, and Alexa did the corner thing that the Fiend does where he turns upside down and looks at him, but she didn't like touch her hands. She just did it upside down from holding onto the ropes, and they had Asuka fall down and cower in fear. It was the worst. Like,
it was really bad.
Asuka would have ran and kicked that bitch in the face.
Shit.
It was really bad.
Asuka's not afraid of...
Asuka was terrified.
She was terrified, dude.
Every time she did anything that Asuka didn't understand, she was very scared.
Asuka was nervous about it, the whole thing. It was very weird. Yeah. I hate that they have to cut off Asuka's balls for the sake of this Alexa Bliss nonsense.
Right, and she has the same intimidation level as a Hot Topic employee.
Yeah, it's like, don't walk out with those sunglasses. I'm walking out.
I very much so do not want to talk to them about a return.
Hey, you get back here. No, I'm going. I gotta go to Julius later, kid.
Yeah. I'm not waiting in that line.
Orange Julius.
By the way, the last time I went to Hot Topic, there was a line outside because the store had limited capacity. You know how fucking small Hot Topics are?
They are tiny.
If you are in a Hot Topic, you are within 6 feet of somebody else.
Yeah, you cannot social distance in there.
The way it works.
It's like a Pac-Man maze, like trying to get in there.
It really is.
It's gotta be a fire hazard.
Oh, for sure.
It has to be. All right. Well, I think we've beaten this up enough, but again, the Royal Rumble, you got to watch it. I know the Peacock thing isn't done yet, but if you don't get to watch it this year, definitely steal somebody's login for the network or whatever. You know, it's the Rumble. I would watch the Rumble over WrestleMania 9 times out of 10, mostly because the Royal Rumble is like this hope, whereas WrestleMania is this. You can't. It's an unattainable goal, is what WrestleMania is. WrestleMania, the show will never live up to the WrestleMania hype, so it somehow will always feel like a disappointment every
Unless
year.
you're there.
Unless you're there, then you can't wait for that shit to end. You can't wait for it to end. You want to leave. No. I was trapped there for 9 hours last time with no
Dallas
food or
was
water.
rad.
I was talking about Louisiana.
Yeah. That one, I was hanging out with Brian Alvarez and Craig.
I threw up in a trash can. We had very different experiences. Let's do winners of the week, shall we? Josh, since you know nothing, I'm going to let you do your first. You go first.
I don't know how to give a winner of the week. Okay, so I guess my winner of the week, the only WWE content that I take in over months, like I haven't watched anything since Survivor Series in your backyard. But really the only WWE content that I take in regularly is the New Day podcast. And I think those guys kill it. It's super entertaining. Big E is like my favorite person ever, especially because of that. I question Kofi Kingston because of some of the stories he told on the latest episode. Therefore, I cannot give my winner of the week to Kofi because of what he did. I got to give it to Big E. Big E holds it down.
Yeah, Big E's been great, by the way. He's been great as the Intercontinental Champion.
And I just learned that he's Intercontinental Champion. That's super cool.
Oh, it was so great. Like, they had a lumberjack match for his match against Sammy. Just so at the end of the day, like, it made sense because Sammy's kind of a chicken shit that's been running a lot from his competitors or trying to, like, use whatever tactics he can to win. So it made sense, but it also made sense because it was a great moment to have a bunch of guys that got in the ring with Big E when he won and lift him up and have some sort of crowd audience present for that. It was very cool. Also, I will say that I have never, I'm very, very pleased that they finally gave Mustafa Ali and Retribution a decent storyline that I'm interested in by this weird, like, rivalry he's starting with Kofi about Kofi taking his opportunity when he was injured and turning it into Kofi Mania.
Yeah, 2 years later, this guy he plays it slow.
It's a slow burn.
Okay.
But still, like, I know, whatever, man.
No, it's good.
Think that it's just so good that it's not only is it being addressed because it's something we've talked about on the show before, but it gives Retribution like an actual storyline. You know, like,
and it's Retribution.
It's Retribution. Like, it actually fits the name of the group.
Yeah.
All right, Beek, I'll go to you next. Winner of the week.
Well, since I just found out about it today, I really got to go with the Dirty Dogs.
No, you don't have to go with the Dirty Dogs.
I really do. They've been given the name that is the key to success, and it really, that's the winner in my book. The Dirty Dogs.
Peak gear. They got peak gear. They have a great logo. You appreciate good logo work.
Indeed.
The logo's great.
I haven't seen the logo. I didn't look at it. Is it a double D?
Dolph always has great logos. No, it's like they stole one of Roman Reigns' old shirts, but then put some circle words around it.
Circle words?
Circle words. You know what I mean? Words
no, I don't. Oh, okay. I get you now.
It's not complicated. It's circle words. Yeah. Is that really, you're really giving that to?
Really, I got to go with the Dirty Dogs because, to be honest with you, it's because I can't think of anything else. Yeah, I think the Dirty Dogs are a lot of fun now that I've heard of it.
It's a good reason.
Dirty Dogs.
I'm going to give my winner of the week to Adam Pearce.
Good
just
call.
Because Adam Pearce has been an unsung hero, and we got to tell Josh about him. But to be honest, I think he's done an absolutely tremendous job in the role that he's been given. He's been asked to go out there and get physical a couple of times. He has always kind of been respectable. I mean, I like the fact that the guys like Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan acknowledge their history with Adam Pearce and kind of almost ask him to do special favors for them because, like, hey, remember that time we fought in the Armory? You know, like, all of that stuff is really solid for me as far as his character. But the stuff with Roman Reigns has it's made sense. It's been good. It feels like Roman Reigns is obviously he's getting too big. His head's getting too big for SmackDown as a show. They're giving him good reasons to interject himself into everything Roman's been doing. It feels very natural. And honestly, it feels different. Like, he really does seem to come off on screen as being an impartial person that's just trying to do his job. And that's not what we usually get out of the authority figure. Either they're super baby face or super heel, they're way over the top about it. This is just different, and I am a little disappointed he hasn't set anybody up with a 6-man tag yet, or
one-on-one with the Undertaker.
Anyone with one-on-one with the Undertaker. But we've got plenty of time. He's still in his.
One of my favorites, the best line Teddy Long ever delivered. You're going one-on-one with the Undertaker. The best.
By the way, one of my favorite things that happened on social media this week was like some website published an article about Joey Janela saying something about the Undertaker, and he like quote tweeted the article. Was like, I never said that. I don't want to do this. Like, don't make me fight the Undertaker.
That's awesome.
Oh man. Meanwhile, Effie's out there talking a lot of shit about WWE, and I love him for it, right? Wrestling is really fun right now, and I don't care what anybody says. Sure, there was golden eras. Sure, there was the attitude era that everybody holds in such high regard. But man, it's a really fun time right now to watch professional wrestling.
Yeah, I'm in the gratitude era, Derek. The gratitude.
Yeah, the gratitude era. Shit. I can't say. Nothing beats that. So thank you guys so much for listening to this show on this stupid network. All the shows on this network. Yeah, I said it, Josh. I said it. I said stupid network that Josh created, and he comes around for every once in a while. Thank you guys so much for listening to episode 433. You can get us all on Twitter. I'm at cap_caveman with a K. Josh is at Schlizzag. That's SCHLIZZAG. And Beek is at JAIMS Vanderbeek. But of course, all roads lead to at the Steel Cage. Shoot us an email about how many milligrams of THC you want Beek to consume, and he will do it.
Shit.
Or, whatever. Also, buy one of our t-shirts. They are at the steelcageshop.com, and they, of course, are the king of soft style. We say that because soft style t-shirts are the best. They're the only ones you should spend your time and your money on. Forget that itchy Gildan shit. But if you are interested in that, check out Beek's shop at pentagonso.com.
I got no Gildans.
I know. You ain't got no Gildans. Beek's shirts are solid. And if you ever have a problem with them, I got a
soft style shirt from Beek's shop.
Beek's shop.
How'd the print go or hold up to the wash? Did it get all jacked up?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, dude, fucking hit him up. Hit him up, get and you gotta wash it correctly. Apparently, there's a whole fucking washing.
There are washing instructions for Beek shirts.
It's ridiculous. They hit me up like, you want to turn it inside out and don't dry it on hot. So you're supposed to not do any heat, heat in your drying.
My dryer only does one hot temperature. It's hot.
I'm pretty sure I turned it inside out, and yeah, I might have put it in the dryer. I usually don't put t-shirts in the dryer. I usually just hang them. But
well, you'd hang them or bang them, but no, they said you wanted to actually just not do it on hot heat.
Yeah. Well, regardless,
just call them, say, hey, fuckers.
Okay.
I was kind of annoyed. If I get the other one, then they do it again. I might move my shirts off that site.
Okay.
It's a big deal. There's nothing I hate more than buying a shirt that I really love.
Yeah. And
then having it fuck up. Like I especially with shirts being the way they are, where you can't just go get another one. Many shirts are limited edition. They were 1-day deals or whatever. And some of my favorite shirts have shrunken to the point where I have to toss them, and it breaks my heart.
I will say that shirt. The Steel Cage shop via Pro Wrestling Tees, like these shirts hold up. So
look at that. Yeah,
Pro Wrestling Tees. The motherfuckers are expensive, but they print a good shirt.
That's right.
Print a good shirt.
And their shirts will if you don't get the soft style, the shirts will stand up on their own. Just saying. It's another attack on Gildan. I'm fucking.
Yeah, I honestly, one time I had to call them back. You know what? I gotta reorder these shirts as a soft style. I can't wear this motherfucker.
Yeah, I can't. I really can't. But of course, check out all the shows on the Steel Cage Network. Something happened with the Hogsman pod where there's a fucking black and red. Like we went NWO black and red on the Hogsman pod. It's fucking wild. Unfunny Nerd Tangent, they're doing their thing. Of course, they just covered Cobra Kai in the latest season on Unfunny Nerd Tangent. Tim and I ate a bunch of snacks. And of course, on the Matt Mania podcast, they gave you all of their likes and dislikes and putovers and whatnot. So
I love those guys.
They're the best. We thank you guys so much for listening to all of the shows on the Steel Cage Network. And remember, kids, banging and hanging your shirts is the only way to go.
Yeah.